the best one. Let's pick up the speed.
We've been there 10,000 years.
Goes down smooth, eh?
On behalf of the Hopkinson family and the Garrett family, we wish to thank each and every one of you for coming and lending your love and your support. Number one, we're thanking the good Lord for this beautiful sunshine.
Yes.
We missed the rain by one day. It's going to rain tomorrow. So Laurel would be happy with this beautiful sunshine today. Laurel Lee Hopkinson Garrett was born to William and Lillian Hopkinson on October the 29th in 1935 in Corcoran, California. And she passed away on October the 28th, 2016 in McKinleyville, just a day shy of her 81st birthday. During her childhood there, she began to develop strength and poise in adversity, qualities that would define her life. When she was a young girl, her family home burned to the ground, and Laurel's mother piled Laurel and her siblings into a wagon along with a loaf of cornbread that they had been baking in the oven, and then they walked away with the wagon as the house burned to the ground. At only 17 years of age, Laurel met and married Jack Matlock. Excuse me. The two had their first child, Kathy, and then they moved to Lodi, California, where they started a photography business. Laurel would go on to have 3 more children, Karen, Kevin, who carries on the family tradition as an accomplished photographer. And then, last but not least, her darling little Lori. Laura moved to Humboldt County in 1964, just in time for the catastrophic Christmas flood. Those of you that were here back then, you remember that. When Laura was about age 45 in 1980, we at the United Pentecostal Church up on 487 Gatliff, we got acquainted with Laurel and she became a member there. She would remain a devoted Pentecostal Christian for the rest of her life. And her membership in the church yielded an unexpected blessing by introducing Laurel to her second husband, Warren Garrett. He was a veteran. He was also a Pentecostal minister. And he enriched and he shared life with Laurel. They were married for 20 years. And with her husband, they ended up moving to Riadale, where she lived until her final days. Her children remember Laura fondly for her love of children, which motivated her not only to teach Sunday school year after year, but frequently to spend all week planning the next Sunday's lesson.
Yep.
With her ever-changing flannel board depicting Bible stories and her inviolable treasure box that she had, it kept the kids in suspense. And Laurel had a knack of making her classes fun while remaining organized and focused. She passed these talents for teaching and organization down to her daughters, Kathy and Karen. Laurel's love and considerable energy showed most clearly in her devotion to her youngest daughter, Lori, who was born with special needs in life. From the moment Lori was born, Laura was her biggest fan and her fiercest advocate. Lori loved to prepare tea parties and special luncheons to attend with Lori, occasions that Laura cherished until the time she passed. Though Laura often seemed stoic, she was full of surprises. She's kind of one of those quiet ladies, and then all of a sudden she bursts loose with her feistiness.
Yep.
Those of us lucky enough to see her in action know that Laurel played the drums. She played the ukulele, the auto harp, and the tambourine. She also had a sly sense of humor that will be greatly missed. Her holiday cards, which she would send in envelopes absurdly overstuffed with confetti, always provoked a smile and a laugh, even as we suspected that the joke was on us. Most holidays, in those confetti-stuffed envelopes, she'd send you a gift check. And more important than the money itself was the amount, which was her way of rating your behavior over the past year. She sounds like she's kind of feisty to me.
Yep.
If you got a check 2 weeks late with $5 on it, you knew that you'd messed up. And of course, cashing it would be like hanging your F+ report card on the refrigerator. Laura was preceded in death by her parents, William and Lillian, her siblings, William Jr. and Susan, her husband Jack, and her grandson Gabe. She is survived by her husband Warren Garrett, her sister Judy, her children Kathy, Karen, Kevin, and Lori, her grandchildren Jack, Josh, Christopher, Kevin, Catherine, and Elizabeth, numerous nieces and nephews, and her great-grandchildren Dashiell, Basil, and Finnegan. The family wishes to thank Alice Stribling and Michael Neal for all of their help, and the incredible staff at Timber Ridge for going above and beyond. Thank you is not enough for Lisa Sierra, Laurel's conservator, who has given Lori the love and the security that Laura would have wanted for her. And per Laurel's request today, no public service. We're kind of sneaking this in on the sideline because she would get on us if she could. And in lieu of flowers, the family asked that you honor Laura's memory with an act of kindness towards someone with special needs. Some of the family, the question was asked, what are you going to miss the most? And her daughter said, calling her to ask her how she made her Swiss steak or her gravy, or just for general advice, because she was a very gifted, very talented, and smart lady. The question is asked, what is some of your favorite childhood memories? And the kid said, well, Mom could be fierce when she wanted to. When Kathy was in kindergarten, she came home saying that her teacher had made her eat lunch sitting on the cold cement. Well, that fired Mom up. She went to school and she was just ready to get in that teacher's face, and Of course, it wasn't true. And Kathy had eaten in the lunchroom. But Mom was there to defend her little chickens, you know. And another time, Mom had it out with a middle school science teacher who had thrown a blackboard eraser at Kevin. That is a no-no. You don't pick on Laurel's kids, or you will stir up that mother hen nature in her and she will flog you. We always thought she was the prettiest mom at school functions. And not only did the kids think that, but she thought that herself. What are some of the favorite memories that you had as teenagers growing up? They said Mom told me that she really was close to her dad when she was growing up. He was a truck driver. So she always loved the smell of diesel because it reminded her of what he smelled like when he came home from work. She called him Daddy her whole life. Her mother made her take her sister Judy everywhere she went. And it was an annoyance to her at the time.
That's not true.
But later they became very close and always stayed in touch. That's true. Okay. Mom told me her parents could never know this. She and some of her girlfriends, they picked up some sailors one time who were on leave. And they were all packed so tight in the car that she had the imprints of the rivets from their Levi's on her leg when she got home. What kids will do sometimes, huh? Some of the favorite memories as an adult was seeing her in the kitchen and smelling her homemade spaghetti. She didn't know the meaning of al dente. She wanted her pasta as big as possible, like she was in a contest for the world's largest macaroni. She was always a hard worker. I remember her around church in our 3 different locations that we continually migrated and enlarged. And I remember when we were in our little building there on Gatliff, she would work so hard in her Sunday school class, and she would put her heart into everything, and very gifted, very talented, and she wanted everything to just be on the top shelf. She wanted everything to just be perfect. And perhaps maybe that was just part of her melancholy personality that she had, that she just desired perfection, wanted everything to be just right. Very hard worker. She worked at Head Start. She worked at tinting pictures at a photography studio. She was a nurse's aide, and I think a lot of her work was just caring for her family, and especially with her child, Laurel, who was a special needs child. Had a very loving, tender heart and very compassionate heart. I know here recently, when she was up on her feet and moving around in Fortuna, we have kind of a coffee and food little fellowship on our Wednesday nights. And she would make sure that Warren got her down to the church there, and she was in there making coffee that by the time we all got there at 7 o'clock, she was already ready to drink the coffee and serve people, and she enjoyed serving others. She loved to help and meet the needs of other people. What are some of her hobbies and her passions? She went through a phase where she mosaiced everything, her tables, her desk, her dressers. And when she ran out of money, she gathered pebbles from the driveway, and she glued them to the top of the dresser, and she spray painted them gold. So that's just part of her creativity. some of her talent coming out of her. She was not going to allow just a lack of funds to hand tie her and handcuffed her, but her mind was always at work. Some of her favorite pastimes was she took golf lessons when they first moved here. And she also liked thrift stores. And she took pride in her calligraphy, and she loved to color. I would have to say, watching her in her Sunday school class, she was a very gifted and very talented lady.
Yes, she was.
That let her talent flow through her hands and through her expressions to her friends. Some of her best friends would be those who they remember her friendship most might be the newcomers of the church who were just coming into whatever church congregation she was in. She made a point of helping new members to settle in, and she would invite them to Bible studies, and she would try to tailor make the lesson just for their stage of learning. So she, once again, she was a helper. She was a servant's heart. She was a person that was constantly giving. And some of the favorite things that they enjoyed was Thanksgiving, I think, was her favorite holiday, that she enjoyed cooking and serving and getting things going. Story was asked about some of her times of laughter or funny stories, and she always bragged about being able to do Thanksgiving dinner for $50. And when she was pregnant with Lori, she worked all day on Thanksgiving, and she told the family that she had been in labor the whole time. And then she proceeded to eat, and then she had to give birth to Lori. She had an insatiable hunger for corn dogs. She tried her whole life to make them, but never mastered it. The batter would just slide off of the dogs, and she just had the roughest time. So one of her last meals at Timber Ridge was a corn dog, and she said it was done perfectly. I had the privilege of knowing Laurel around the church for 35 plus years, and now I look at 81, I start doing the math, I'm 72, and I start thinking in my mind, you know, someday I may have to do what she's doing. And it's a fact, we all will. It's the inevitable. Nobody will dodge it. For the good book says, it's appointed unto man once to die. So we are going to depart. And I think since that is a fact of life, I think we need to have her concept and her philosophy that she borrowed from the Apostle Paul. And that is, for me to live as Christ. I'm here not to do my thing, but I'm here to do God's thing. That's what I don't like about death. It separates us, it divides us, and we can't talk to Him anymore. But one thing I can always do, and you can always do, is I can keep those precious memories in my heart. And I can remember all of those little children that she helped in Sunday school class and taught them the eternal Word of God. I can remember all of those dinners that she helped serve, and she brought food and she made food and she served people at the table. I've got good memories in my heart and in my mind. And we need to go through life making good memories. Song. Excellent.
For annoying little sister Judy.
Wonderful. Come and help us, Judy.
I hope this is a key that you can sing in. I hope it's a key I can play in. I had a dear friend, a dear Christian friend, and someone asked us if we could please come and do a Graveside funeral. And so her name was Carol, and she was a sweet Christian, and she said, Judy, could you come and just play Amazing Grace? And I said, I'll try, Carol, if you'll do the rest of the service. She said, oh, okay, we'll do it together. And And so I had never played without notes before. And I was kind of nervous, and it came time for me to play Amazing Grace, and it kind of came out like Happy Birthday. And I finally got on the right tune, and we all got kind of tickled. But after that, I kind of got used to it. So.
How sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. I was blind, but now I see.
You know the words to the second verse? 'Twas grace that taught me.
It was grace. Was grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear, the hour I first believed.
And now the best one. Let's pick up the speed.
We've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun. We've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun.
Hallelujah.
Amen. Yes. She would be proud of
Oh, I think so.
you. Yes, and she would love you. I know she did.
I loved her too. Yes,
Awesome.
I really did. I have some really cherished memories of my sister Laurel. I sent some pictures to Kathy and Karen, and I tried to explain what we were doing. And we went across town every week to our piano lesson, and you can tell by the look on her face, she was not too happy to have me along. But the street photographer, once in a while, he caught us and took a picture. And we always stopped at Woolworth's. And I could always pick out the candy I wanted right away. I knew exactly what I wanted. And I could probably pick it out today. And she could never choose. And so she always walked away empty-handed. And you can tell by the picture, I had my mouth full of candy. I was happy.
Yeah.
She was just dragging this little sister along. Probably right. Probably right. Thank you for a wonderful service.
Thank you. Once again, we want to thank each and every one of you for coming and sharing your love and your support. And this will conclude the service at this time. And you can just shake hands and greet the family.
It was really good. I got to see Sissy. I got a pair. Did you see Sissy?
Put that in my bag.
Oh, there she is right there.
Everything that happens today, because it's such an important day, that things will bring back memories. You know, like the shortbread cookies for breakfast will bring back a memory now of this day. And what I'm wearing will bring back a memory.
Do you think that'll be hard to wear that shirt again?
Yeah. I don't feel weird about the shirt I wore to Chris and Katrina's wedding.
Why?
I don't know. I just feel weird wearing it now.
What'd
It's
you
so
wear?
weird. That red one with the little designs on it. It just feels weird once you wear something like to an occasion that's
Yeah.
you know, important, and to wear it to the grocery store seems weird.
It's funny because that's why I chose not to wear my maroon shirt. It's because the last thing I wore it to was that wedding.
The family
Yeah.
event type thing, yeah.
And then it's like I don't want to have like a wedding and funeral shirt. You know what I mean? Like every time I see my family, I'm wearing the same shirt. That's weird.
But by Thanksgiving, you should be able to wear it.